Okay, welcome everyone to our last live session for DES 242 Logo and Identity Design. I am your graphic arts instructor, Shannon McNamara. I'm basically going to be sharing with you the same exact slides, so I'm not going to put them in the announcements today. We only got as far yesterday as demoing and putting together the logo usage guide, which is the assignment. And so today I'm going to really focus on putting together the assessment. So I'm not going to have time to do a critique, which is kind of a bummer. But I think it's more important to understand the different dimensions and how to correctly, set up things for your assessment for this week. So I really want to focus on that rather than kind of rush through it. So with that being said, let's hop into the slides. I was just trying to set a reminder for myself. Sometimes when I do this, I end up going a little bit longer. So we did this yesterday, how your logo should be presented. And I had put, let's look at what Facebook and Twitter say about their logos. And if you want to, what you can do is you can actually look up the Facebook logo usage guide and the Twitter logo usage guide, and I did go over these in week 2. So those are the brand guidelines of how their logos are supposed to look. So again, if you're still a little bit confused about how to set things up, the clear space, you can see kind of how they have it set up. It might be a percentage, so at least 150% of the width of the logo, or you could do something like inchwise, like 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. You would set it up to show it with that clear space. You can see how they've done it, the correct way to use the icons, what the minimum width of an icon might be. So maybe your logo, maybe somebody can't go below 1 inch on your logo, so the one that you're setting up at 1 inch, maybe you can say, I don't want anyone to go below 1 inch. You can say you can't add drop shadows, you can't change the orientation, you can't add any special effects or gradients, you can't multiply my logo. There's a lot of different things that you can say, don't use my old logo. Do not use metaphorically to suggest a bird. It's not a bird, it's a symbol of Twitter. So it's kind of interesting, all of the different things that the companies will put through, the way that they'll set up the colors, the typefaces, examples of how things can be used. So I think that these brand guidelines are really great to look at if you're not sure how to set things up. And I always look at the PDF version because that's what you'll be making. You could do something like a table of contents if you wanted to. It can be as many pages as you want. Just make sure that you have all of the requirements in there. And you can do a couple of other requirements too, like how you're not allowed to use things. So, even I like this too. Who's this guide for? Why is it important? I really do like that. Some of the do's and don'ts. So just kind of, take some time to look around at other logo usage guides that are out there on the web if you need some other ideas of how to set this up. So we're going to be talking today about creating those print pieces with your logo and making sure that the logo works in all different situations. So it should work on a business card, on an envelope, and on a letterhead. And those are the 3 pieces that we're going to be creating today. So just a reminder again about my office hours, Monday through Wednesday, 7 a.m. Mountain Time to 2 p.m. Mountain Time. But remember, you can email me anytime. Just note that I am located in Eastern Standard Time Zone. Tonight is the last night to submit any week 3 redos for a higher grade. So I should say that is today because I'm using the same slides as yesterday. That's today if you're here live. You only get one chance at your submission for week 4. So make sure that you're looking over everything carefully before you've submitted it for a grade. If you've already submitted it and you just realized this because you're watching the session now, make sure that you email me ASAP to let me know, like, hey, I need to fix something. Please don't grade it yet. Because I like to get in there and start grading the week 4 work when it's submitted. So just send me an email if something went wrong and you need to resubmit it. Just let me know. Once it's graded, though, you won't get that chance. So our last live session is today. So thanks everybody who is able to come live and all of you who are watching at home. Again, I really do enjoy this class, and I definitely made the most of my time teaching you to put together a new logo. And if you will recall yesterday, I was trying to log in to show you how the logo was going to look on Instagram. And I was like, I can't log in. This is so ridiculous. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I had my password right the whole time. Basically, I had I had my username spelled wrong. So go me. Clearly, clearly it was a Monday, right? So I'm going to try to see if I can share this just so that way you can have a look. Gotta plug it in. I'm sure it's going to pop open my iTunes for no reason whatsoever, like it likes to do. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to a new share. And yeah. Cancel. New share. iPhone. Ugh. Don't import. All right, there we go. Okay, so here you can see that I have added in the logo. If I said, hey, new year, new baby, new logo, you can see the size that is going to be on Instagram. So I wanted to make sure that that was going to work. I think it works well. It works well in the circle, which is good. What I had to do in order to get this up onto my Instagram was I actually had to export my logo from Illustrator to be a JPEG. So I'm going to show you how to do that because number one, it's really good for your clients to give them a JPEG version. You want to give them really a PDF version, the Illustrator version, and then a JPEG version that they can use online. Because if they are trying to, add their logo to their social media, they definitely need to have that JPEG version, and some of them might not know how to save your Illustrator file or their PDF file as a JPEG. So you'll wanna give that to them. So again, I think that this was a good logo. I think it worked out pretty well, and yeah, I'm happy with how it came out. Happy enough to actually add it to my Instagram. All right, so let's let me unhook my phone so it'll stop yelling about iTunes the whole time that we're doing things, and let's quit out of iTunes because it takes up so much bandwidth and space. All right. Yeah. And plug my iPad back in. I literally have like 5 screens going in front of me right now. It's kind of insane. I always, if you come to the live session live, you can't ever tell if you're just watching from home. But if you come to the live session live, I'm always logged in twice. It's because I like to watch and make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be showing, which was how one week I realized that it wasn't showing the right slide. So I've got my old iPad, I've got my new iPad, I have my laptop, I have my other computer, I've got my phone. I just have way too many screens in front of me right now. So before I get into that business card and the assessment, I'm just going to show you how to export your logo. So because we're exporting it to be a JPEG, you're going to want to open up the RGB version of it. And you might even want to export the black and white version for them as a JPEG as well. Or the black and white version, maybe you want to export that one as a PNG, or you want to export both of them as both a PNG and a JPEG. It's really a good idea to give your clients a lot of different options. So if the background is clear, you're going to want to give them both the JPEG and the PNG. So what you need to do in Illustrator is go to File, Export, and go to, you can either do an export as or a save for web, which is a legacy. So I'm going to do the export as, and I'll show you that one first. And you can select the PNG file, and I'll just make a folder that says web logos. So that way my client doesn't get confused. And then I would probably name it web. And I want it to be high resolution, background color, I want to be transparent, because that's kind of the whole purpose of doing the PNG. A PNG, the best way that I can explain a PNG file is it's kind of like a PSD file. You know how Photoshop files can have a transparent background, but for the web. That's kind of the way I explain them to people. And just click OK. And then for the JPEG, you can do the same thing. You can do an export as, or you can do a save as for the web. If you want to really get into the nitty gritty of how fast the load time is going to be for the file and the size of the file, the save for web legacy is definitely the way to go, because you can change the quality, you can preview it, you can see you know, how optimized it is. It gives you a lot of different options. You can see it chew up for optimization, what the original was versus the optimized JPEG. It just gives you all these different options. But if you don't feel that you need the options, or you don't really understand what it is that you're looking for, you can do an export as and do the same thing. In the drop down, just go to JPEG. And then again, I would name it web and export it. And close that out. And again, you might want to do the same thing with the black and white version of it. Do the PNG first. And I always name them web for my clients, so that way they're like, oh, that's the one I'm supposed to use on the web, because they don't really know what RGB and CMYK and all that is. And then I wish I would remember where I was going each time though. And I would probably change RGB for them to color when I sent it over to my client. And then you can just double check that everything looks right. Just do a quick look-see. Perfect. And the PNG ones will show black or gray in the background. It's because it's transparent. So you should have 2 of them that do that, and then 1 that has the white background. That's just showing you that's transparent. There's no white background there. So I think that, again, you don't need to do that for this assignment, but that's really good information for when you are creating logos for a client, how you should deliver your logos to your client. Excuse me. Took a sip and went down the wrong pipe. All right. So let's get into the assessment and really go over the background and the prompt for this week, because we didn't do that yesterday. So here's our background. Though graphic designers are often drawn to the profession because they enjoy being creative and making things as a hobby, being a professional graphic designer who thrives within a stable career requires you to master professional self-presentation. You are your own graphic design studio ambassador, and you should be your own biggest promoter and advocate. Any client who's looking for help with any visual challenge. What does that mean? That means, basically, I'm going to just summarize this for you. If you kind of rush through your own logo, your own business card design, your own letterhead design, and your own envelope design, and it looks rushed and it looks messy, am I, as a client, going to trust you to design my logo or design any deliverables for me? When you hand me your card, that looks messy. The answer is no, I'm not going to, because I'm going to look at this and say, you know what? Yeah, if this person couldn't take the time to do a really good design for their own business card to get business, I don't think, I don't want them wasting my time and wasting weeks of my time for me to go back and forth, and in the end, not have a design that I like. So I'm just going to be blunt. If your assessment looks messy, it's going to be graded as such. If it looks rushed, it's going to be graded as such. You shouldn't just throw the logo on, type up your phone number, and call it a day. You need to design this. It needs to look professional. This is a professional self-presentation of your business, and it needs to look as such. You're your own best advocate, and you're your own best ambassador. So back to our background. To this end, it's fundamental that you use your own design skills to create and promote yourself as a designer. Just as a clear corporate identity structure will serve a client, so too will a clear identity structure serve you and reinforce your professional design credibility. From business cards to letterhead to envelopes to your personal website, every place where your audience may encounter your work is a chance for you to extend the story of who you are as a designer. Successful designers recognize and take advantage of these opportunities, and in doing so, develop a positive, credible reputation and a sustainable design career. So again, it cannot look messy. It cannot look rushed. I'm going to turn on my camera for a second. If I can find the icon. So there are, little things that you can even do when you're having your business cards printed up. So this is the business card for my company. And first off, you can see that there's a full bleed. It's actually, you might be able to tell, it's on a nice, thick, glossy stock of paper. And also, it has a nice, we decided to go with a nice rounded edge, which I think just add something. And I've done a couple of business cards for other people as well. I see everything seems to end up in my desk. Isn't that the way it always goes? And I had just done one for my brother, but it might be upstairs on my refrigerator because it came out really cool. So I put it up there. I'm just checking the rest of my desk real quick. But it was the same exact, rounded edge. But what we had done was his card was clear. So I had to find this printer in the area, and they printed clear cards. So it looks like a credit card. It feels like a credit card when you're holding it, but it's completely clear. And we went with a one color scheme, which is a blue, not too far off from the shade of blue that we've used for our cards. And it just, when you're holding, like when you give it to somebody, it's really a conversation piece. They're like, what? Oh, it's clear. And then you put it down on the table to kind of read it or put something behind it. You can still definitely read it when you're holding it, but it really comes together and people are like, man, that's a really cool card. So that was one type of business card that I was really, excited to design. And then I had also designed a business card, which I don't know where the samples are. I know I had a couple of samples floating around, but I've moved a couple of times, so I think they might have gotten lost. But it was this really cool, again, a credit card, because some companies, even Vistaprint will print on plastic cards for you. So it's more money, but it's just got, if you're constantly handing out cards and you don't want them to end up in the trash, that's a great way to kind of ensure that they're not going to end up in the trash, because somebody's like, man, this card is pretty awesome. Where did you get this done? And especially if you're a graphic designer or if you're in marketing, when you hand somebody that card and you're offering to do their design, you're offering to do their marketing, and you hand them something that feels like a credit card or feels like, a plastic card, they're like, hey, that's cool. I want that for my business. And then you can do that for them. So this card that I had done for another marketing agency down in Florida, it was actually this matte black card with glossy black text. So it was a black on black design. And so when you kind of, did this, everything shimmered in the light to read it. And every single person that we handed that card out to was like, oh man, like this card is so awesome. Where'd you get this card? How'd you do this? And my boss at the time, it was his company. He was like, oh, my designer, Shannon, she worked with this company up in Massachusetts, and, she had them print these up for us, and we just wanted something really different that stood out. And they were all like, man, we got to get some cards like this. So it turned into a conversation piece. And if you are a good enough conversationalist and you have a good enough elevator pitch, which is, a pitch about yourself that'll only last maybe going up 2 floors in an elevator about your company, you can really turn that conversation into what we can do for you. It's a great way to get freelance work, to get any work, to, put something to put with your resume when you submit a resume. Even if you submit your resume, online, which everybody does now. We all, submit our resumes when we're going for a job. But if you get called in for an interview, it's always best practice to bring a hard copy of your resume with you. And if you have a really well-designed business card, you want to put that right with your resume, clipped right on top, a whole nice presentation. And handing that to somebody, it looks nice and neat. Your resume is printed up on, good stock of paper. Your business cards are professionally printed. It's worth it. It's worth putting the money and putting the extra time into. So with that being said, I just kind of wanted to show you guys, the ones that I had printed. I feel like it's different to see it in person than to just see the mock-up on the screen. The printed piece is really the whole presentation. All right, so let's get back into our assessment. Okay, so successful designers recognize and take advantage of these opportunities, and in doing so, develop a positive, credible reputation in a sustainable design career. I think I already read that, but that's okay. So for your final assessment, you're going to be putting your logo on the following 3 personal elements: your business card, a letterhead, and an envelope, which means that you need to design those 3 things before you put your, or as you're putting your logo on. Now, you need to have the following items on each. You need to have the logo, your phone number, a web address. Even if you don't have a web address, that's okay. Make one up for the name of your company. You know, www. whatever your company name is.com. An email address, and then it says a mailing address. This one though, I'm going to, I feel as though it might make more sense for you to put social media if you have social media accounts. I think that that would make more sense than putting your mailing address, unless if you feel that your mailing address is kind of the way you should be going. Then for your letterhead, the same exact thing. And then for your envelope, this one would need a return address on it, because if you're giving somebody an envelope, you do need to get the mail back. So you're going to use your color scheme and establish a type system to ensure that you have a cohesive look and feel through all the elements. So what does that mean? That means going back to your assignment and seeing what you put into your logo usage guides regarding type. And when you're mocking things up, if you need to keep certain elements away or so far away from your logo, you need to follow that. You need to follow your own logo requirements. After you've designed your flat files, you're going to use Photoshop and mock them up into a 3D context. And when you're finished, you're going to submit both your flat file and your mocked up file. And be sure to keep things that you learned in print production in mind when you're creating those pieces. So you're going to use CMYK, not RGB. Add the correct bleeds, but don't use a bleed on the envelope or put any graphics that will interfere with the postal requirements. So stamp and barcodes. And I'm going to show you how to do this today. And then when you have completed everything, you're going to put everything into a multi-page PDF and name it DES 242, Assessment 4, first and last name, and you're going to submit the finished logo to your Behance site. And what you're going to want to do is also submit those Photoshop mock-ups to your Behance site, because I feel like that's really important to show. All right. So your business card should really also be two-sided. If you need a template to follow, the best place I find for downloading templates is actually on Vistaprint. So let's check them out. Oh, they always put their templates somewhere. Trademark patents, request samples. Do a search. Like you have to go to the product. I think it's kind of a weird way. Every time I go here, they put it in a different spot. Upload your design. All right. If you go to upload your design in anything, so I started at business cards, you can find their templates. So it says download the template, download the design template. I am going to build my card in InDesign, but I'm just going to download the Photoshop template and then place it in InDesign. And I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do a vertical card. And yeah. And I'm kind of trying, because this is weird, because it's just like an Instagram site. So I'm almost like, I have no idea what I would even make a card of. But here we are. I'm just going to wing it. All right, whoops. Week 4, I'm going to do final assessment, open it up, and then I'm just going to make 3 folders. Business card, letterhead, envelope. So because it's kind of a online Instagram blog, I guess, maybe that's something I can put. Like we talk about this, or maybe I'll write articles. I'll say I write articles. Yeah, it's definitely kind of a weird thing, I guess, to do. But here we are. Here we are doing weird things. So I almost want to set my card up to look like an Instagram page. So let's go in. All right. So it says that the size is, why would you set this up in, all right, 3.61 by 2.11 inches. And that is for, or it would be 2.11 by 3.61 inches. Or rounded, yeah, we'll do rounded quarters. A square card could kind of be cool too. But I feel like your phone would be, this is your phone. So yeah, we'll do it this way. So I'm going to follow the Vistaprint sizing because this is where I would have it printed out. If you don't want to follow that sizing, if you would like and you don't really want to follow one of their templates, what you can do is just follow what I have on the slides, which is the standard dimensions of a printed business card are usually 3.5 by 2 inches. And then the bleed area would be an extra 1/8 of an inch on all sides. So most business cards are set up that way. It's just when you send it to a printer, you want to make sure that what you designed fits into their, bleed, trim, and safe area. So I'm just going to follow their dimensions just to make my life easier because I did download the template. So 2.12 by 3.62. And I don't think that they need it set up where you've manually put in the bleed, which is kind of weird. Because I can put in just the the trim size and then put this in as a bleed. That's just such a weird size. I'll do it that way. I'll set it up that way. So if you guys are following along with me, sorry for the confusion. Vistaprint is a little bit different than everybody else, but again, they're really cheap. So you might want to have things printed through them. All right, so 3.5 by 2, 3.5, or 2 by 3.5 because I'm setting it up. 2 pages, 1 column. My margin, which is my safe area, is, hold on, 2 minus 1.86, 0.14. You're wondering how I figured that out on all sides. And my bleed is 0.12. Okay, so it kind of is. We use 0.125, they use 0.12. So it's not that big of a difference. All right. Go. This over. Perfect. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my layers palette and I'm going to have my template on a layer and I'm going to lock it on that layer. Week 4. If my math is correct. And you can see their template is a little bit weird. It never extends, honestly, right all the way to the bleed. And I've actually contacted them. I'm like, according to your specifications on your website, they're like, yeah, it's not right. And I'm like, that's great. You can see it's 2.1833 is the actual size of the template, and it should be 3.6. Nowhere is it even the right size. So it's just make sure that your actual document is set up to be the right size, and just err on the side of don't put anything outside of your safe zone and your own margin kind of that you've created for yourself, honestly. All right, so I'm going to copy that, paste it on page 2. Go to my layers. I'm going to lock that layer. Make a new layer. And this one is going to be, I'm going to name this one my phone layer. And I am going to go into, not my desktop, my Creative Cloud. Where are you? Oh, here you are. There's so many icons up here now. And I want to go to stock, font, stock, files, not stock, Behance. Where are you? Okay, everything's updated. That's good. Where did the mock-ups go? Because am I losing my mind? I shouldn't be losing my mind. Although Tuesday is just Monday on repeat. Could be losing my mind. Adobe mockups. Creative Cloud templates, yeah. Where are you? You used to be able to get to them right through. All right. That's weird. They changed it used to have its own name. Like you were actually in there. Templates. Okay. It doesn't do it through the actual app anymore. Search templates. And I want phone template. There we go. I literally want one of these. Are they not free anymore? View filters. Price standard. Hmm. Adobe free templates. I just noticed that they took it out of the Creative Cloud, and I literally use this every single month. So I'm a little shocked, and I don't know if they are free anymore because everything says to buy a license. Let's see what happens when I add it. 1 month trial free. No. Because then I have to remember to cancel it. That's really. That is really a bummer. All right. Let's go to Pexels then. Pexels might be our space. I'm really bummed out. I'm not surprised though. I will say this. My level of surprise that Adobe is doing this is about 0, honestly. If we're gonna get down to it, that's my level. That's my level of shock right now that Adobe is making you pay for things that used to be free. My level of shock, 0. So I'm just gonna download this phone. But we're going to have to find our other mock-ups now on Pexels, which is a little bit more of a shame just because, you know, it used to go into your market downloads, and you can see like my old one, like I had a business card mock-up, envelopes, which I do still have these. So I'll share them with you guys because I think it's pretty ridiculous that Adobe is making you pay for it now when it used to be free. So I will definitely share some of these mock-ups with you because whatever, take that, Adobe, right? All right. Here we go. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of photoshopping, more than I thought I might have to. The other thing I'm going to look up, because I want my business card, where I'm going with this is I want my business card to look like a Instagram template. And I am going to make sure that I'm following their brand guidelines, because I want it to look like a screenshot. On the iOS. There we go. So I will, this is for print. And I'm going to download this. Move everything over. And then back into Photoshop. So I need to kind of straighten this guy out. Let's see what size this is now. Oh, all right. So it's still relatively big. All right. Because I only need it to be like 3 inches high. So that's good. And where I'm doing the rounded, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing the rounded corners, was I wanted it to look like the phone. Actually, I'm going to use the pen tool here. Oh, hold on. Did I not commit? It's a little weird when I tried to rotate it. Where's my history? Right? Maybe I can get away with not rotating it. Something weird is happening when I try to rotate it. It's like getting, the pixels are getting all weird. This is why I wanted the vector version of it. Alas, here we are. Yeah, everything is just Adobe stock now. It's such a bummer. Let's see if there's another. Maybe this one's a little bit better. It doesn't look like, I really wanted it to look like the iPhone. Although that's like a new iPhone. Maybe this one's better. Let's try this one. The angry iPhone. Oh yeah, I could already tell that that one's straighter. Close. Not that the bottom of it's gonna show, but might as well just do the entire clipping mess. Save. Okay. And make sure it's, you know, okay, I almost missed that. And I'm actually, while I'm in here, might as well take out this guy. Right, foreground color. I don't know why this new thing of, oh, look, we're going to expand thing. Oh, Photoshop and its changing of the tools really drives me bananas. Because now I'm going to have to Google how not to have that happen. If you'll notice, what I'm talking about is I drew a square, and I wanted to select the square and make it just wider, but watch what Photoshop does now. So I wanted to transform my selection and just make it wider. It's making it taller. Why? Oh, because it locks. No. Nope. Oh, why? Why? That's fun. Not. I don't know why they changed the tools so much. There's just literally no need. All right. So let's put my phone in. On the phone layer. And I'm gonna bring it in just a bit to the safe area. It's gonna have rounded corners, but I just want to make sure that's safe. And I know that it's gonna run off on the bottom, but that is okay. All right. Just want to make sure it's even in here. Oh, whoops. Getting really nitpicky, but you know. Okay. Which is perfect because everything that I'm going to put in here, it's completely going to be within my margin that I want it to fall in, which is perfect. All right, so I had downloaded some screenshots. So let's open up those and we can follow along. And it needs to be the iOS. Nope. Channel. Oh, not, oh, okay, I see. Nope. Nope. That's weird. Which ones are they? Oh, whoops, that could be what. Instagram TV. I don't want the TV. I just want the screenshots. I'm like, wait a minute here. Why does everything look like it's some weird video stuff? There we go. And this may seem like this is a lot of work to go through, but again, you know, you want to make sure that it looks right. So let's see what's what. iOS, Android, included. I wish it labeled them. This is probably the feed. I think I probably want it to look like this one. The profile page, although profile for a business. And I'm going to open up the iOS PSD file. Now I need to remember that this isn't going to fit the whole page. So San Francisco. I wonder if does not seem like they give you the fonts. Maybe Adobe has it. Apple has it. That's interesting. Apple's like, we've got you. We've got your back. Finally. We're going to do you a solid. Have the fonts that you need. You're welcome. Yep. Pretty sure. Install. It's probably going to kill my computer. All right. Now let's see. So San Francisco UI text regular. Let me cancel that and we'll see if it has figured out that they're there. And I did take a screenshot to use. Um, done. A lot of work goes into trying to make your stuff look cool. All right, so let's see. Navbar. Username. Following fonts. IU text semi-bold. And I changed it. Oh, it's probably gonna make me close this out, don't save, and open it back up. Sometimes Photoshop doesn't play well with FontBook, and I don't know why. Like, it should give me the option to resolve it with something other than Myriad Pro. All right. Oh, that's annoying. All right, so San Fran Pro, and I remember that that one was semi-bold. Let's try it again. San Fran. Pro. Semi-bold. There we go. You didn't type in my name right. I was missing the underscores. There we go. All right, so there's my nav bar. And then under header, story ranks, profile info. And if you're not quite sure if you're following a template like this, what you can do is go to the move tool, right click, and it'll show you where things are, your pick, and it'll bring you to that layer. So you can double click and then you'll replace it. See how it says replace this? So I am going to replace it with my logo. Which was still in week 3. Use the web version. And then you would hit save, and that'll move it over into this area. Then I'll do the same thing here. Profile name. And this is going to say text, semi-bold text regular. Continue. All right, so my name is semi-bold. The other one is regular. Oh, it's so annoying. Bold. Regular. There we go. Category. Blog. The lorem ipsum is regular as well. And I'm going to just put and all right. And it ran into the other one, which is my URL. So I will move that down because I don't have an address. So I'm just going to delete where it has address. Okay. I will put my URL, which I'm making up. And you don't need to do when you're putting in a URL, don't do the http.www. Just put, you know, what it is .com if it is going to be a .com. And then I should probably put a couple of things right here. So maybe because it is for my business card, I'm going to put varying degrees of the logo there, which could be cool. So highlight pick number 1. Oops. Click. I'll start with, yeah. I'm going to start with it in color, go to grayscale, and then go to black and white, I think. Something like that. And honestly, I really should have used the PNG one right here. So I'm going to grab that. My assessment. Oh, whoops. Those are in week 3. Sometimes if you go to open up a PNG file by just double clicking on it, it'll open in preview for you. So you have to kind of drag it into Photoshop, which is also annoying. All right. Um, save you. All right, so let's see. You are this one. Bring you down. You are that one. No. Oh well. I'll just, normally I would take this entire thing apart and redo it, but for time, I'm not going to do that. So all right, great. And then we've got these media images. So that's where I would put in some images, yada, 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 and follow along. So again, just for time, I'm going to leave this like this so I can add it to my card. All right, let's go back. Business card, so profile. Save that. Okay. And place it in here. Make sure I'm just a little bit outside of that margin. Where are you? Here we go. Perfect. And you can see everything that would then show up. I can even put in 3 pictures of, you know, kind of like what I do down in here for the rest of my information. And if somebody gave you this card and it's, you know, clipped to the size of a phone, that's really cool. And then what I would do for the back, which I'm not really going to have time to do right now, is I would do, whoops, put it on the wrong size. Is I would actually find, you know, the back of the phone would probably one of those, what are they called? Pop sockets, if you ever have one, if you have one on your phone, and you can get them customized with your logo. So that's exactly what I would do, is show a phone that has a case with a pop socket with my logo on it. So again, just kind of making the card very interactive. All right, so I'm going to do File, Save As. In my final assessment, in my business card, I'm going to name this Save. I'm going to turn off this template. I'm going to export this. Actually, I want that to be down in there. Save, all right, File. And I'm not exporting it with the bleed because I'm going to put this together in a full PDF. All right, close that out. Now, the next one that's difficult, or it might be difficult for you guys to figure out, might be the envelope. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to Vistaprint, and we're going to find some envelopes, which should be under brochures, booklets. It's usually under office supplies. Well, products. Oh, might need to do a search. And for this one, you can do some custom envelopes if you want. That could be fun. And it's the same exact thing. It will give you the template that you can follow. So I'm gonna do a 5x7 because maybe if the only thing that I would be sending out is maybe I'm hosting events and I would be, you know, folded, I guess. Click Start Designing. And upload my design. So you'll notice I have to go to upload my design to get the templates. Whoops, well, maybe I went past it. Here we go, product specifications. That was right there where I was trying to 5x7 envelope. All right, so document and trim size is 8.58. So they're doing the 0.12 again for a bleed. So let's set this up, 5x7 envelope. Again, it's going to be two-sided. It's not going to really be 5x7. It's going to be 8.58. Really? 8.58 by 4.72 with I'm going to go with a 0.25 margin on this one, but the same bleed that I used last time, and also 2 pages. And you will notice that it says to leave space for where the stamp needs to go. And then another thing that happens is there's a barcode that'll end up being run at the bottom that the post office does. So you have to be aware of that. And you'll notice even on their designs, they have things down at the bottom, but there's no text that is down there that's going to be interfering. So if you're a little bit confused as to where things go, you can actually click on the start designing and kind of see where they have things. Like, you know, the address label goes in the middle. Even if there isn't a set defined address label, you'll notice that anything that's really dark, they've blanked out where the address label should go in those areas. And if there is a design at the bottom, you'll notice that there's like kind of it still allows for it to be mailed. So just kind of keep that in mind, that, you know, when you're designing, try to follow one of these templates. But mainly, you can't put anything where the stamp is. So I am going to base my design of this off of the kind of the color scheme that I did for my logo sheet. So I can reference back to my logo usage guide, which is right here, and just kind of have an idea, you know, using those two colors and using those fonts. I had to use the fonts that went with, actually, I should use that San Francisco font and keep everything the same, because according to my font usage guide, I need to use a sans serif font such as Agenda, but I can use San Francisco that I used in my business card because that is a sans serif font. So that's what I'm going to do. And let's open up my library, find my colors scheme, which is this one, and add it to my swatches. Change it from RGB to CMYK. There we go. All right, perfect. And it said, you know, oh, don't use a bleed. Well, Vistaprint will print with a bleed, so you can use a bleed. Just keep that in mind if you want to. I'm not going to take off points if you have a bleed because Vistaprint prints with the bleed. Oops, wrong place. All right. And that's going to be my back and my front. My screen logo, not my screen, my print logo this time. So definitely the CMYK version. Put it up here. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the assignment. Where am I here? And I'm gonna put that baby bottle, so I'll just open it up and copy and paste it from there. And that was on my master page. Okay. And double check the preview. Nice, I like that. And I mean, you can even, where this is a mock-up, you know, you can even get kind of fancy and pull up a stamp. You know, if there's stamps that you really like that are out right now. That can be fun. See if there's anything that might go along with my theme. Or not. Oh, theme. Here we go. Ah, children. Let's see. I kind of like this one. I'm gonna grab this one. And what I mean is I'm going to take a screenshot of it and put it on there. Let's see if it'll let me open up the image. Perfect. Copy it. It's going to be so small on the screen that it really is okay, you know, to use the web version of it. Just going to very quickly clip it out. And the only thing I'm not going to mock up, again, for time, I'll probably grab an old mock-up that I have, is the letterhead. But here's what I want to say in regards to the letterhead. You want to make sure that you can actually put a letter on your letterhead. So it shouldn't, the whole page, the whole 8.5 by 11 should not be your design. Because that would just be crazy and you can't, you know, put all of that on the letterhead. You know, you wouldn't be able to type a letter if your whole page was designed. So just kind of keep that in mind, please. Unless if I have time, then I will do a letterhead. But the Adobe not having the templates really threw me for a loop today, clearly. I don't know when they did that. Select I expand, fill, envelope. And I have this unfortunately, in our announcements this week. I think I showed a screenshot. I'm still like convinced that I'm doing something wrong, that it's in there and I'm just doing it wrong. Because I don't want to believe that they got rid of that because it was so helpful. Oh, Adobe Creative, assets, market. Yeah, that's not what it looks like now. Adobe. Yeah, see? The assets are gone. It's just Adobe Learn Asset Stock Discover is now Adobe Learn Files, which are your files, fonts, stock, and Behance. Oh, yep. Man, that really, really, really is a bummer. Okay. So a stamp, let me see what the stamp dimensions are. Probably says it. Or not. Description. Dragons. As my daughter would say, dragon roar. I'll just guess. You can look it up if you want to be extremely particular. Probably would be placed like that. And then put in your, really? My computer's like, I should save this before I lose it. Then you would put in your return address. So, which I'm going to put my return address on the flap, and I'm just going to make the illusion that the flap goes like this. And a little bit of a drop shadow. That's way too crazy of a drop shadow. And it was San Francisco. I was using display, and I'll do my address, my return address in regular. And it doesn't need to be extremely big, you know, just obviously big enough that it's readable. Right. And export this PDF. And maybe, you know what, hold on. Let's just quickly make a letterhead. I'm not going to put a lot of design into it. I'm kind of going to copy my envelope, honestly. Right. Fix that. Follow in my color schemes. Place that. And copy it over here. And the reason why I'm copying it exactly is I want everything to match up. Perfect. All right. So I've got those 3 done. So next what I have is I need to mock them up in Photoshop. So you can either mock everything up individually, or you can find an image that has, you know, like a tabletop or something with a envelope, a business card, and a letter. So I'm going to see what they have in Pexels. I feel like Pexels is going to be, at this point, your best bet. If you want to sign up for Adobe Stock and then remember to, you know, get rid of your subscription, that is an option. But if you're like me and you're worried you'll forget, don't do it. All right, let's see. All right, business card. All right, here we go. We have business card, the letter. I'm going to save that one because I might be able to, actually, I'll just download it. Because I might be able to just manipulate in the envelope right here. Might be worth just doing that than trying to find something that has everything. I'm just going to do that again for time. Because we've got about 15 minutes. This is my goal here. And there's a cup of coffee. That's exactly. Oh, and well, it's got a Samsung phone, but I guess I could even take. This could actually be cool. Not could, it will be cool. All right. So let me open up my letterhead first. I'm just going to open up the PDF. Why it's showing me 3 pages? Oh, maybe I accidentally made a 3-page document. I'm like, why are there 3 pages there? Why is it grayscale? Oh, don't save. Let's try that one more time. Why would you immediately go to the option of grayscale? I don't know. CMYK, please. Okay. And this, I'm going to change my mode to CMYK as well. I'm also going to, before I copy it over, change my image size to 300 dpi, which will bring this size down and be a little bit more reasonable. I don't need to be working in a 75-inch project right now. Kill my computer. All right, so here's my letterhead. Paste it in. And I'm going to need to kind of scale it, which you can totally see that this is obviously not anywhere close to scale, because all your letters are 8.5 by 11. So I'm gonna manipulate this a little bit and make it to scale. And then just kind of get it to look like it is laying on the table, kind of. It's a little bit skewed on the table, which makes sense. That would happen. And then what I really need to do now is I need to try to match this drop shadow that's happening, which could be a little bit problematic. So the best solution might be to go to my background, go to my shadow tool, my burn tool, my shadow tool, and just manually start to put in a drop shadow until it matches. See? Now that looks like it's really sitting on the page. All right, I'm gonna file, save as. Let's save this so I don't lose it. The louder my computer gets during our live session, the more I save. And this is going to take up a lot of resources. So if your computer tends to run slow, one of the things that you might want to do is you might want to restart everything before you start doing your Photoshop mockups. Because that's the last thing you need, right? All right, next thing I'm going to open up is my profile that I made. I'm gonna put it in that phone there. Don't resolve right now. So I'm gonna do a Command A, and then what I wanna do is I wanna do a copy merged. And what that's gonna do is it's actually just gonna copy the image of everything that's on every layer, and then I can bring it over. This is my letterhead. Turn you. And I mean, if I wanted to get crazy, which I probably would if I was, not totally stuck for time, is I would actually take out this phone like completely from the mock-up, and I would put in an Apple phone, because I followed, if you recall, the Apple iOS, not the Samsung iOS, which looks a little bit different. But for time, I'm just gonna do that. And I'm gonna do the envelope next. So my envelope, all right, my envelope is 5 by 7, which means it's gonna be about 2 inches higher than my card. So actually, I should probably, so it's probably gonna go to here, and around to here, proportionally. Envelope, grab. I'm just going to put the front of it. CMYK. Copy that. And save. Paste it in. And maybe it's on the table and then my business card is on top of it. Why not, right? Do a little. Now see if I can get the drop shadow to match. Angle's a little bit different. That's pretty close. That's my envelope. And then I'm just going to turn my envelope off for a second so I can place my card on top. All right, my card is going to have rounded corners. So let's do this. Actually, let's do, where are you? The better question is, essential, okay. Where are my shapes? Oh, that's why. I want a rounded rectangle. Okay. No, oh, so close. That's really good enough. All right, so that's how I want it cropped. Just gonna quickly turn it into this. Copy, go here, paste it in. And I'll try to just get the width right. I'm gonna put it at a slight angle so it looks like it's definitely just kind of been placed on the table. Turn my envelope on, and I'm gonna copy the drop shadow. Say, and I'll just edit it because it wouldn't. Nope. Hold on. There we go. All right, perfect. And I'll save that. And I'm going to do a file save as, and I'm going to save it as a PDF. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our entire project together to make the multi-page PDF in Acrobat, because that'll just be the easiest. Close, close, don't save, and go into Acrobat. And what I want to do is I want to combine files into a single PDF. And it's going to open up a dialog box that lets me just drop all of my PDFs in. So I'm going to put in my mock-up, my business card, my envelope, and my letterhead. And if you want to change the order, or if you have, see how I accidentally had 3 pages here? You can fix that. And then I'm going to click Combine. And then you can check it out. Page 1, page 2. Remember, it was supposed to be a different one. And it's going to originally name it Binder. So what you're going to want to do is go in and copy and paste the correct naming convention. All right. And do file, save as, and this dialog box drives me bananas too. You can never tell where it's putting something. So I always click choose a different folder so I can manually choose where to put it, because I never know based on that. Like it was going to put it in my iCloud. So I'm going to put it into my week 4 final assessment folder. Save. And then you only need to submit this file that has everything in it. And then, like I said, I would upload this mock-up to your Behance. Create a new project for this course. And you're gonna need to save that file as a JPEG, your completed file. So you might wanna just open up the mock-up. You can do File, Save As, JPEG. And then I think you can actually do it right through Photoshop now. Like you can upload it Okay. I'm already in here, so I'll just do it this way. So first I'm going to do the mock-up, and then I'm going to do the logo on its own underneath. So I always like to do a little description. So and then grab another file, and I'm going to grab, whoops. That JPEG web logo, or actually, or the PNG, either one. What the? Oh, all right. I was like, don't tell me that they changed how this is. No. Come on. All right, fine. And then you have to hit continue. It's so ridiculous. But at least now it does let you use one of your pictures as the cover photo, which they never used to do. They used to make you upload something. Graphic design, illustration. And then publish. And then you can promote it. There you go. All right. Well, 3 minutes late, but not bad considering the amount of things that we did today. And the issues we ran into. I will definitely try to share these mock-ups with you. I'll share this one, the URL, and you guys can download it on your own, just because that'll be really quite large to try to put it in the announcements. But at least I can give you that URL. And if anybody wants to see some other ones, this is probably going to be the easiest. So I think it might just make sense to do this one. And then what I would do is, let's say that you do a standard size envelope. You could even put the front and back of your business card here in the mock-up and just run the envelope over here on top of the letterhead. That's another option that you can do. All right, so any questions before we end for today?
No, I think I'm about to go start on it in a minute.
Okay, great. All right, well, I can't wait to see everyone's designs. And if you do have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. And have a great week 4, and I will talk to you all soon. All right, have a great day.
All right, you too.